Hey everyone, Nate here with your baseball 5 at 5. And who else could we talk about than Aaron Judge? He's been killing it on the season and he was crushing balls against the Orioles last night. 2 home runs to bring his total up to 14. 14 for the season in 34 games. If you extrapolate that out to a 162 game season, he's on pace for 66 home runs. Now, will he play all 162 games? I don't know, but it's pretty crazy to see. As you can see here are his stats. He's got 1,076 OPS. He's hitting 315 with a 384 on base and a 692 slugging. 1,076 OPS is by far the best of his career. He hit 1,049 OPS when he won Rookie of the Year, and ever since then, he's settled into the 900s, essentially 891 being his lowest. Aaron Judge is amazing, and he deserves all the props in the world for what he has been doing this year. I mean, you look at it, 1,076 OPS, 114% better than league average via OPS plus at 214, 14 home runs, 7 doubles, that's 21 extra base hits in 34 games. Everything he's done, he's even added in 2 stolen bases. Everything he's done has been amazing, but it got me thinking. Aaron Judge is 30 years old. He turned down a contract extension. He's going to get a massive contract extension now that he bet on himself. What's crazy to me though is that you know who else is 30 years old? Oh, and we have a card price of him. Sorry, Aaron Judge, 2013 Bowman Chrome Auto just sold BGS 95 for $950. Best offer on May 18th. But you know who else is 30 years old? Mike Trout. That's right. That's the numbers on the bottom here that you can see on the screen. So Aaron Judge, while he's getting all of the accolades in the world, and he deserves them, Mike Trout is quietly has a 1,123 OPS, which is better than Aaron Judge's best season. He's had multiple seasons better than Aaron Judge's best season right now. And yet you hear everyone talking about Judge. You hear nobody talking about Mike Trout, despite the fact that they're both 30 years old. And Mike Trout is yet again better than ever. Aaron Judge is having a career year. Everyone's talking about him, and he's still not as good as Mike Trout's just offensive numbers, let alone defense and stolen bases. Mike Trout is truly amazing. And of course, people know this in the card market. You can see their prices here. BGS 95, Aaron Judge that we covered earlier, $950. A couple days earlier, a PSA 9 Bowman Chrome Auto from 2009 for Mike Trout, $12,400. So obviously the price difference speaks for itself. 12 times the price of an Aaron Judge. I just think it's funny that you have a guy like Judge who's 30, who's getting all the shine in the world. You've got another guy all the way across the United States who's also 30, who's not getting as much shine, despite everyone knowing he's Mike Trout. He just doesn't get talked about, and yet he is better than ever and better than everyone. So when you guys are investing, yeah, it's fine to invest in a guy like Aaron Judge. It's fine to invest in other guys because they're significantly cheaper than Mike Trout. But if you have the money, you might as well just go after Mike Trout and call it a day. All right, we're back here with Flip Quest episode number 18. And this week, we got probably the card that I've most excited about of any card we've gotten during our Flip Quest weeks. And you see it here on the screen, the Juan Soto 2020 Topps Brooklyn Collection 1/1 Platinum Auto PSA 8. Do we care about the PSA 8, Aaron?
Well, it's a PSA 9, so it's a little bit better than that.
Oh, what am I, blind? Oh, the auto got an 8?
Yeah, auto got 8.
Oh, well, I am blind. But we don't care about the 8 auto. We don't care about the 9 grade because this is a 1/1 Juan Soto auto.
It's like a pseudo like update platinum too. I know it's not like nearly to that level, but like come on, the borders, platinum borders, 1/1, it's a nice card.
It's true. And should we talk about the reason why we got it?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I mean, you're the man behind this one.
All right. So when we saw this, obviously it's 2020, right? You know, it's a second or a third year card. Is it going to be that sought after in the future? Well, for my money, I say yes. Because how many 1/1 autos are there going to be by the time Juan Soto's career is done? And how many tons of other out of 5s, out of 10s, out of 25s, out of 50s are there going to be of Juan Soto? Those, there's going to be a ton. 1/1s, there'll be a significantly less. And the closer you get to his rookie year, the better in my mind. So getting a 1 of 1 on card Juan Soto auto that's already graded PSA 9 was a must for me. I thought for sure we'd have to go over $1,000 for it, and we went 810. I think that was an absolute steal, and I'm really pumped to see what this card does. Maybe not this year, but a couple years from now, and maybe this year because I just saw a rumor right before we went live that he might get traded
I
this
just read part
season.
of that article too on is on ESPN, I think, but you probably saw something else. Um, it intrigues me. It intrigues me, no doubt. And I know that there's going to be people out there that look at it and say, "Oh well, they could just throw a 1 of 1 stamp on any card." But remember how collectors act. Collectors and I guess you could say investors too want to find that piece that can be sold in the future without and this is our take too on this, without having to like reference a completed sale. When you can look at this card and sure, someone can go, I guess, see how much we paid for it. But if you really want it, you're going to have to pay what we're asking for it is the most important part of it. Or if you really want it and it goes up for a bidding war in the future, and Soto's really hot, or he just gets traded to like a massive team or this or that, and hopefully like a bidding war starts on the card too. So like I think that on card helps a ton here because there are going to be more Sotos that get signed and come out. But a lot of them are going to be stickers too. There's a lot of sticker auto placement in Topps' products as veterans progress through their career. Sure, there's on cards between definitive. I think 5-stars got on card autographs too. Dynasty obviously has on card autographs, but you're not sniffing a 1 of 1 Dynasty Soto auto for under $1,000, which is what helps here is the cost behind it too, which I'm a big fan of. Like Nate, if you remember back, this was probably like right when we started doing the live streams. We were looking at a 2019 Topps Chrome Orange Wave, second year. I think it was a PSA 9 or a PSA 10. It might have been a 10 of Soto, numbered out of 25, and that thing I think went for around $1,000 or maybe more than that. And I'd be way happier with this thing right here, on card auto, signed, the platinum background. I think it's a beautiful design, and under $1,000, which I think is a great place to be on even an auto of Soto in the first standpoint too. Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, if you hit any auto out of any year of Juan Soto or Mike Trout or Ronald Acuna or Bryce Harper, any of those guys, you're like, yeah, I'm sitting on money. You hit a 1 of 1 of those guys, you're definitely thinking you're sitting on at least $1,000. Doesn't
yeah,
matter what year. And so for us getting this for an 810 price point, I feel really comfortable, not only for the rest of this season, especially if he doesn't get traded, but I feel very comfortable holding this for years and watching what it does 5 years down the line when he's already a shoe-in for Hall of Fame at that point.
I agree. And keep in mind, we did buy this last Sunday on the FlipQuest episode number 17 on the PWCC weekly auction. And that is where we're accumulating all these cards to see what we can do in 2022, but also beyond, because with what's going on right now in the market, all markets, not just the card market, I think that there is not as much opportunity, of course, right now to sell on either a week by week or month by month basis. But when buying this card and others, our strategy is going to be in place now, looking 6 months and ahead to really envision long-term holds out of this stuff too. That makes sense instead of trying to bet on buying something and player does well and then flipping it 2 weeks later. It doesn't work like that right now. So we kind of had to readjust the strategy, I think. And we got the George Russell dynasty. We sold some cards to help fund that, to help fund this. Now we're sitting on out of 5 dynasty rookie patch auto of George Russell and a 1 of 1 Soto auto. We are down like $800 on the year around there so far, but I'm very confident. I think Nate might be too, in going this direction of getting maybe these players and driver, in the case of George Russell, higher end cards that might have more future, beyond the next month or two is going to be our play here with this thing. Do you agree, Nate?
I do agree, and I think that's the way to go for the rest of 2022 with all the uncertainty in the world. Make sure you're getting premium cards that you're not looking to move within the next month or two.
Yeah, and I can't wait for this week, number 18, live on YouTube, 9:45 p.m. Eastern time. Join us. We give away some cards. We buy some cards. We sell some cards, except not this week. We're not selling anything this week, but next week we've got some big ones selling. And I absolutely cannot wait to see what we add next to the FlipQuest 2022.
All right, on to the basketball 5 at 5, and we have to talk about Jimmy Butler and the Heat. They played the Celtics last night and beat them 118 to 107, or 2 nights ago when you're watching this, from last night when I'm recording. 118 to 107, and Jimmy Butler was spectacular. Now, obviously, the Celtics were going to be tired. They went 7 games against the Bucks. It was a hard-fought series. It was a scrappy series. It was a tough series. whichever team was going to win that series was going to come into this Heat series significantly more tired than the Heat, and I do think that that is going to cause the Celtics season to sink because of how tough the Bucks series was. That being said, we have to give props to Jimmy Butler. He was incredible last night. Absolutely incredible. You can see his stats here along with a price trend on his 2012 Prism PSA 10. And last night, he went for 41 points, which by itself is amazing. But he added in 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 4 steals, and only had 2 turnovers. He went 12 for 19 from the field, shot 63%. And he went 17 for 18 from free throw, 94%. And he was cooking guys like Jason Tatum out there. It wasn't just anybody getting stuck on him. Jason Tatum's a solid defender, a big wing. It did not matter for Jimmy Butler. He doesn't always get the praise he deserves, but Jimmy Butler is always around winning. I present to you the last 3 playoff series Jimmy Butler was in. In 2018, 2019 when he was on the 76ers against Toronto, they lost in 7 games. Toronto goes on and wins the championship. In 2020, they lose in 6 games to the Lakers in the championship. And then last year, of course, they bowed out in 4 games, but they lost to the Bucks, who went on and won the championship. And this is all on top of Jimmy Butler taking that pitiful Timberwolves team to the playoffs the one season he was there. You've seen what they did without him until this year when they got Anthony Edwards and all those other guys in. They finally became a playoff team. But the previous years, they were pretty pitiful. The only year they weren't was because of Jimmy Butler. The guy just knows how to win. He wins all the time, and it's unbelievable. And you can see here his 2012 Prism base PSA 10. In the last month, it's raised 10%, which is pretty good. We're not talking big autos here. We're talking a base auto or a base card in the midst of recession, in the midst of inflation. And yet Jimmy Butler has found a way to raise his prices on his base PSA 10 cards. Pretty hard feat nowadays. Even the guys that do really well, their cards have been dropping. Not easy to do, and yet here he is doing it because Jimmy Butler is a winner. He has proven that time and time again. And this year, the Heat really didn't get many accolades the entire season. They're kind of the quiet number 1 seed that people didn't really talk about. And here we go again. The Heat, Jimmy Butler, might just have enough to make a championship. And if they make a championship, they might just have enough to win it. And then Jimmy Butler's name will go down in history as one of the better winners of this generation.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another Formula One 5 at 5 here on the SlabStox YouTube show. My name is Aaron, joined by a co-host today for the Formula One segment. Julian, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Julian's been on different SlabStox podcasts / episodes in the past. He did one with Zach for our SlabStox FC, and here he is joining us for Formula One. So Julian is our intern, and very happy to have Julian here talk about Formula One. So big race this weekend. We have Barcelona at the Circuit de Catalunya. Super excited about that. Julian, let us know about who's doing well this year so far for people that maybe aren't super tuned into the season yet.
Yeah, so taking a look at some of the most position gains so far in 2022. I mean, at the top of the list is Alex Albon, who has been super impressive, especially considering he's been in a Williams. His partner, Nicholas Latifi, has not been doing so hot. So considering how he's gone up 27 positions is super impressive. And then there's George Russell as well, who has been one of the most consistent drivers so far. I believe he's finished top 5 in every race so far. So that's super impressive. And then you got Esteban Ocon underneath that and Latifi as well. But those top 2, I would say, have been the most consistent so far. And then looking at the title race as well between Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. I mean, at the start of the season, Ferrari looked very, very strong, and it looked like they might blow everybody else out of the water. But since then, after Red Bull kind of addressed some of their issues, it's gotten a lot closer. So I wouldn't say just yet that the title's over, but it's definitely getting a lot closer. So it should be interesting this weekend.
I'd say every race only heating up from here, depending on what happens with Leclerc these following races and Verstappen, obviously, too. We could see in the next few races possibly tied in points, which I think will make for a super fun rest of the year, and definitely the development on the car going forward is going to be important. What do we got next here?
Yeah, so this weekend I would say is big for McLaren and Haas, and especially Daniel Ricciardo and Mick Schumacher, those in particular. Those two drivers haven't really kept up with their teammates exactly, so I say this is a big weekend for them, hoping they can get some big points. Lando Norris is, I mean, McLaren had a slow start. They didn't have the best car at the beginning of the year, but Lando Norris has definitely picked it up. Daniel Ricciardo has definitely struggled. He hasn't gotten a ton of points, so you can see the big difference: 35 points to 11 points. And then for Haas, Mick Schumacher is one of three drivers who hasn't gotten any points so far this season. And he's definitely going to be looking for some points. He finished 11th in the first race, so he was close, but he has struggled a little bit since then. And Kevin Magnussen's been doing very well. So I think it's a big weekend for those drivers.
Definitely. And Mick Schumacher actually hasn't ever scored a career point in Formula One. Obviously, the son of Michael Schumacher, all-time legend. But he was super close last weekend until that, dust up with Vettel, which kept both of them from points. And so I was very disappointed to see in Miami. I think that the American crowd would have went wild to see Mick score some points. So hopefully it's not coming soon. As for a new release here, 2021 Topps Dynasty has released since the last 5 at 5, fully out in most people's hands if they bought it either through card shops or whatever. And there's no Haas in this release. There's no Mick Schumacher RPA like we were hoping for. There's no Nikita Mazepin, which I'm sure no one cares at all. But the Mick Schumacher RPA dilemma is definitely, I think, a problem for a lot of people, given that would have made this set very, very, I'd say, like, sought after in the future and even right now. But one comparison we wanted to make here was between Ricardo's 2020 Topps Dynasty numbered out of 10 patch auto, which is when he's with Renault, and comparing that to his McLaren one now in 2021 Dynasty, which is definitely a step up in the team department and fandom department in general, which should bring some more energy to that card potentially versus the 2020 Dynasty, which sold for $1,560 on May 1st, the 2020. 2021 ends this Saturday, current bid of $710. So I wouldn't be surprised to see his card get close to the 2020. And Julian, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, he's on a bigger team for sure now, so that's one factor. But I feel like there's also other factors, like you mentioned. I personally, I know you do as well, like the design of the 2020 Dynasty better, and we'll talk about a little bit more on the next slide too. But like some of the patches, man, are just very very sad, especially for some low numbered stuff, low pop stuff.
I agree, man. I agree, let's do make it known that both Julian and I have purchased 2020 Dynasty cards to hold in our collection or to sell in the future or whatever it is. Julian, what is your prediction for podium for this upcoming weekend in Barcelona?
I'm thinking Charles Leclerc is definitely going to be top two. I think Ferrari's upgrades that's gonna help them a lot. I think Max Verstappen's going to be up there too as well. I think it's going to be another showdown between the Red Bull and the Ferrari, and I've got Sergio Perez probably coming in third. I think Carlos Sainz has been racing really well, but I think Sergio Perez has looked very impressive.
Who's your winner between Leclerc and Verstappen?
I'm going to say Leclerc. I think. Me personally, I think Ferrari is gonna come out swinging with the new upgrades. I know they didn't want to upgrade a ton at the beginning of the season because they looked really strong, but I think that they're gonna look very strong.
And I'm just going to go out here and make a bold prediction that Sainz is going to get his first race victory at home in Spain, and then have Verstappen finish second and Leclerc get third. Will it happen? I don't know. But all I know is that I like what Julian said. The new upgrades, I think, will help Ferrari a lot. And maybe we do see Sainz get his first race victory.
What is up, everybody? It's Zach from at Premier Soccer Investing here with the SlabStox FC 5 at 5 take of the week. Let's get into it. Today, this is going to be a fun one for me. I'm talking about two of my favorite players and two of Tottenham's finest, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. And as you can see here, both of them have been banging in the goals this season in the Premier League, with Son only one goal behind Salah for the Golden Boot in the Premier League with one game left at 21 goals, and Harry Kane having another strong season with 16 goals, and Son has taken no penalty goals. And the reason I'm talking about these two guys today is, yes, obviously they're two of the best attackers in the world, but card-wise, they haven't always been super relevant, but I think that's going to change in the next year, assuming, knock on wood, that Tottenham holds on to that fourth position in the Premier League and makes it into the Champions League this summer, and we keep Conte and strengthen, which are both likely to happen should we finish fourth. This Tottenham side will be a team that can really challenge for some major trophies next season. And then also you have the further boost of both these players who will be appearing in the World Cup this up at the end of 2022. And then they've both been getting a huge amount of assists as well, often to each other, with Son having 7 goals. So that's 28 goal contributions in the Premier League. And Harry Kane having 8 assists. So that's 24 goal contributions in the Premier League. So obviously great individual seasons by them. Today, we're going to be looking at their 2018 Prism World Cup base PSA 10s. So as you can see, these are cards that have similar in pop, but have lost a lot of value in the past year, down $142 for the Sun and down $130 for the Kane. And there are a variety of reasons for this. There's Tottenham's huge dip in form, but also the price drop is not just related to performance, but is also related to the large amounts of these graded cards that came back onto the market quick. And so it remains a question on whether like these cheaper Prism base non-rookie cards will rebound. If they do, it'll come off of team success, which I think Tottenham will experience next season and what their country should experience in the World Cup. Obviously, Kane with England is one of the favorites to win the World Cup. And Son, South Korea, that's a team that can make noise at the end of this year. And we look at their charts right now. Son in the blue, Kane in the green. For the most part, they've relatively mirrored each other, with the caveat of Son generally having a higher value than Kane, which is interesting because many consider Kane to be the better player, and he's the fact that he's the captain of the England national team going for him. But that's not the only cards they have on the market. They also have their more true rookies. For Son, his true rookie is really the 2013-2014 Topps Chrome Bundesliga card. And obviously, and this is a card that is very, very low graded, but it has had some value on the few times ones have sold, with a PSA 9 version of this card doing $225 in October, and then an SGC 9.5 doing $250 about a month and a half ago. Long term, if Son and Kane go down as legends of the game, which Kane really has a chance of doing it because he should probably finish his career as the highest goal scorer in Premier League history, it'll be cards like these that could really, really carry value. The Prisms are nice in the short term, but the true rookie stuff will be there in the long term. And for Kane, we have his 2014-15 Topps Premier Club. Again, a card that's very, very low graded and very tough to find in good condition. But again, a card that still has value, with the BGS 9 doing $275 in February of this year, and an SGC 9.5 doing $300. And especially this card for Kane in particular, I really like. It's his true rookie, England captain. He will go down as probably the highest score in an England shirt, a Tottenham shirt, and as anyone who's ever played in the Premier League. And now it's looking like both Tottenham and England will be contending for trophies for at least the next year, and possibly for the rest of Kane's career. And if he does get that trophy, which is really the one thing he's missing in his career, he could really skyrocket in like importance to the game, and then in terms of his card market as well. That's going to do it this week for the SlabStox FC 5 and 5 take of the week. Come on, you Spurs.